And welcome everybody. If anybody's going to show up, unscheduled live show. We're about to play around with some stuff here and chat a little bit. So you all shows up, see how that happens. We're streaming live on the X as well as the YouTubes. And maybe we'll start streaming on the Rumble. I don't know. Give us some feedback on that. Let's see. How was I going to do this? I'm going to play this first. There's Ghost out there. Welcome. Let me play something here if I can figure out how to work my computer again. I'm going to turn my volume up. That'll probably be good. I'm just going to say something. That's what I mean. All I'm doing is saying something here. I just waited a minute before I said it is all. Join us every Thursday at midnight ESTs and 9 PM PST for the daily gun shows, Travel Thursday. Each week, we explore unique destinations, events, and experiences that celebrate firearms culture, history, and community. From iconic shooting ranges to must-visit museums and notable firearm-related landmarks, we provide insights for planning your next 2A-inspired adventure. We also discuss upcoming gun shows, training events, and meetups happening across the country. Whether you're a seasoned traveler or looking for your next 2A destination, Travel Thursday is your guide to exploring the world of firearms beyond the range. Join us every Thursday at midnight ESTs and 9 PM PST for the daily gun shows, Travel Thursday. Look at that. All you suckers, all you humans having to say everything all the time. I don't even have to say nothing anymore. I can have my robot say everything for me. All right, so we're about to, let me share this screen over here. I'm going to go to our Daily Gun Show website over here. There's a website for this, by the way. You can go over there and look at stuff if you want. And then I'm going to push that into this URL right here. And I'm going to click that button. And then I think what we'll end up with, there we go. I'm going to generate this conversation over here. I could have fiddled with it a little bit, but I just went ahead and said generate. Let's see how that goes. And I'll just read this I guess I'll just read this here. We can get it to open. The Daily Gun Show is a weekly live stream program focusing on firearms. Each day features a different theme, including discussions of gun laws, industry news, firearm history, and media representation. The show also highlights gun shops, Second Amendment creators, and activists. Viewers can participate through the live chat. It's all right here, just like Ghost is doing right there. And through the social media engagement. And the show is available on various podcasts and video platforms. The hosts, me, and guests provide commentary and engage with audience questions. That is pretty good. That's a pretty good summary of what we got going on here. That was done by the robots, the Google robots. While I've been reading that, it's been over here generating this conversation, and usually doesn't take this long, so it must have done a really good job reading that website, I guess. If anybody's ever used this before, it's a pretty interesting tool, and this is one example of a robot doing something. So I'm here filling time while my robot's taking forever to do this job over here. It's not that big a job, robot. Come on. You're embarrassing yourself by taking this long. Let's see. We got people joining us. I can see them because there's other robots that'll tell me you're watching or not. Feel free to leave a comment. Be part of the show. Back in the olden days, back in the oldest of days, people had to read everything. Or no, they probably sat around a campfire. And then after that, somebody figured out how to scribble something down inside of a cave or whatever. And then people would write stuff on rocks, I guess. And so they started reading, right? The side of caves and rocks and whatever. Maybe they got tattoos. So people were probably reading stories off of tattoos, right? And then at some point, they figured out how to record sound and pictures. And we had radio and then television. And then all that time, people only could absorb. They could only read what was written, like, see what was created. And that was it. And then the internet happened, and now you know what can happen? People can talk on the internet. Look at just like Gunpowder Beauty did. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. And that way it's interactive. That's those tubes on the internet, or you're allowed to push information through those tubes as well as get information. And we celebrate that on our show. So why must my robot taking this long? This still usually doesn't take anywhere near this long. This is going to be an exceptionally good episode of this conversation that the robot makes here. But you saw all I did was open it up and put in the website. And now, is it trying to read every show that we've ever done? We're on episode probably 1900 at this point. So hopefully it's not trying to read all those episodes, but it does try to read the transcripts from all the different things. It tries to read, from videos at least, it tries to read all the different web pages, and it'll even go to links and stuff. It does a pretty good job of summarizing a website usually, but it doesn't usually take this long. I've been contacted by Bob, the original co-host of the show, and we might be able to get Bob on one of these days, see what's happening, update on Bob's situation, but also hear what's going on in Canada, because there's some good news about Canada and some bad news about Canada. Let's see. We got SHOT Show coming up in a couple of days, weeks, 18 days, 2 hours, and some number of minutes. So there's that. Oh, Gunpowder Beauty must be drinking. She says, "Miss good old Bob." So there's a couple of things that somebody could take offense to in that. First off, good old Bob, and then you're missing him. Look, but hey, it's free country. You can miss Bob if you want to. But we'll see if there it goes. It finally finished. 24 minutes. Oh, good. I'm going to have a break here. Oh, I won't play the whole thing, but look, it just made a 24-minute show based off of the website that this podcast is. So let's listen to what the robots came up with, shall we?
Welcome in, everyone, to tonight's deep dive. We're tackling the Daily Gun Show.
Oh, yeah, the Daily Gun Show.
A show that's been running live every weeknight since March 2016.
That's a long time.
It is, with panel discussions on just about everything you can imagine related to firearms.
So much to cover.
There really is.
Yeah.
So tonight, we're going to try to...
This is all robots. Robots made this in the 8 minutes that we've been farting around here.
Figure out how this show's managed to not just survive, but really thrive for so long.
I mean, you're right. Most shows...
We have thrived. We've thriven for so long, and that's based on our appreciation and use of the robots. And we're not as scared of the robots, and we're willing to use the robots in our content here. There's some more robots talk.
They have trouble just finding an audience after a few seasons. But this one, it's like they've tapped into this whole world.
Yeah.
A lot of other podcasts have trouble finding audiences because they suck and they don't know what they're doing. But we do not have that problem. We have an audience. So, and you're that audience that you're listening to this right now. So feel good about yourself that you're not listening to some sucky podcast. You're listening to this good one. The robots even said so.
The gun world. I mean, everyone from the casual gun owner to industry experts, they're all tuning in.
And one of the things that really jumped out at me right away was the consistency.
Oh, yeah.
Not just the schedule. I mean, they're on every night, but the format too, that they have these recurring segments that give each show its own unique feel.
Makes you want to tune in and see what they're going to come up with.
Exactly. Like Gun Shop of the Day. I mean, they featured everything from these tiny little mom and pop places to these massive retailers with shooting ranges and classrooms even.
It's like a virtual tour of gun shops all across the country.
It is. And you discover these places you'd never even know existed.
Some real hidden gems.
Absolutely. And then there's 2A Creator of the Day.
2A, of course, referring to the Second Amendment.
That's right. The right to bear arms. They feature all sorts of creators. Like you've got YouTubers doing gunsmithing tutorials.
Oh, cool.
Leather workers making custom holsters.
How many leather workers making custom holsters have we been friends with over the years? Ozzy is new. You've got the guy on... I don't know his name. The guy on Hillbilly Show that does holsters. Then you've got how many before that? 1, 2. Do you count Snob? He was making Kydex holsters. So yeah, that's definitely one of the players in the community. It's a fun hobby.
And then you've got writers and podcasters focusing on legislation and history.
Really showcasing all sides of the gun community.
It is. It's not just about shooting. It's about the craftsmanship, the education, the advocacy, even the entertainment.
I mean, you got to keep things interesting.
Exactly. And then they throw in firearms history of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Which has taught me more about the evolution of firearms than any textbook ever could.
You and me both.
I taught those two robots more about history than any textbook. I feel good about that. A long time ago, did we ever do firearms history of the day? Oh, yeah, I think we did for a while. I had this really big spreadsheet. When all three of us were hosting, we would assemble this massive spreadsheet and have segments. We never monetized the show, though. That's the problem. We probably should have. We were doing pretty good there for a while. Probably would have made some decent scratch just from playing the show, and then we could have got some sponsors or whatever to want to have commercials. Got Ape out there. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Been a little while. So, continuing on with the robots review of the website / the show.
Amazing what you can learn.
But, like, did you know they once did a whole segment on pinfire cartridges?
Pinfire cartridges?
This is only 2 minutes into this. It's 24 minutes long, so I'll probably put it up on the podcast platform.
Never even heard of them before, the Daily Gun Show.
So you're always learning something new.
Right. And what's really cool is how they connect these historical tidbits to modern day gun owners.
Oh, yeah. They might take like a lever action rifle from the 1800s.
Yeah.
And show how the design principles have evolved to the rifles we use today.
Have we ever done that? I don't know if we've ever done that. But that's pretty interesting. I'm wondering how it's going to fill up 24 minutes like that. All right. Well, so was watching another show, Gun Club Radio, I think is what he calls it now. They were talking about SHOT Show. The one dude, I don't think he's been to SHOT Show. He's scared to go or something. He's not going this year. And then the girl that was on is going to SHOT Show for the first time. Do I need to have this open anymore? I'll hide it from the screen. I don't think we need it on anymore. So anyway, they were talking about SHOT Show and got me thinking. We haven't really talked about SHOT Show too much. Talking about it in the middle of the night is probably not worth anybody's time because I would just be talking to y'all, and y'all are either not going or you are going. But there's not too many people probably that are going to ask questions about it. Unless you have questions, feel free to ask them. But I'm thinking about doing the show at a couple of different times to kind of test the market, let's say, test the different time slots, is that what they call them? But I figured during the day, probably a better time to ask for questions. But you could surprise me. Could have a bunch of people that are chatty this evening. I'm just surprising myself because I don't remember putting that player up there, but it looks like the player is up there. And interesting. I haven't looked at what the player's been showing. I think I have some auto things happening that I wasn't aware of, but I guess that's good. So if anybody's been listening to the podcast, that's probably been getting some old stuff shuffled back in due to some automatic stuff I set up. I was actually playing with some automatic stuff, and I didn't realize I'd set it up. And then I think it dumped a whole bunch of pictures in different places and whatever. We got a Fluffy Puppy belly rubs for the Fluffy Pup. So it's the fourth. It was just for anybody that's listening to this in the future somehow. First off, welcome to time travel, because I'm saying this to you in the future and it's now the past. You don't know that, but I do. But this is being recorded on the 2nd, which is every second matters, the 2nd day of 2025, when the day before this was, what do they call that? New Year's. And they went nuts with New Year's this year. Tons of them. The people in my neighborhood have gotten very bold with their fireworks ever since 2020, and the cops do anything really. Cops don't really do much anymore as far as crimes. It has to be a pretty bad crime for the police to do anything about it anymore. So the fireworks, let's just say, it has emboldened those who are interested in pursuing the firework. So we have massive, massive, massive fireworks. Other parts of the country have places like this. We've got New Mexico, which I don't think they can even shoot fireworks over there, but they can sell them. And as soon as you cross the border, there's massive fireworks stores. So we got one of those kind of situations. And then Vegas, same thing. I don't think you can shoot them in towns in Vegas, but I think you can shoot them out in the desert. But you can go buy stuff in Vegas. So people buy stuff, bring it to Arizona that's you're not supposed to have here. And it is massive. Like, they don't even buy the stuff for houses anymore. They buy the stuff for like sports stadiums. So we have these massive, massive fireworks going off that they don't even go up high enough to go bigger than the explosion is. So the sparks come down and hit the ground, and they're going to catch a fire one of these days. But I don't know how fireworks really work because they don't seem to catch fires ever, but they probably could. And they're just super loud. So the little fluffy dog, anyway, that's what I'm getting around to, is that the fluffy dog has been out of her wits for the last few days. They started shooting them a little bit the day before. And of course, they went nuts, probably starting around 9 o'clock. And she just was not having it. So, was I even awake for the New Year's? I might not even have been awake for New Year's. No, I think I was. But if I was awake, I was laying in bed with her because she's normally not liking fireworks. This year was especially not liking fireworks. And some fucker was launching them until 3:45. That was the last one that I heard. And then they were launching them last night, a little bit this evening. I think I heard a couple. Oh, yeah, we did. But as soon as we got home, it wasn't even hardly dark out. And it was like 7 o'clock. And I guess it was dark by then. But she was getting already all freaked out in the van because somebody was launching off, not really the big fireworks, but like a string of firecrackers, which kind of sound like a little tiny machine gun, like a machine gun made out of 9mm. So she still gets freaked out by that. So I don't know what happened to her when she was little, but it involved firecrackers, and she does not like the sound of them things. So anyway, she's not even in here. She is hiding, and I know where, I think, but she's been a recluse. So I do go in there and give her like some pettings, but she doesn't like that stuff, so that's not helping her, whatever. She likes to be left alone when she's like this, I think. Plus, she's moody. So she got all that going for her. The little dude was just standing here. You might have heard him snorting and breathing and stuff earlier. That was the co-host. But he ditched me, and now he's sitting in his chair looking at me. He's still supervising the show and monitoring and judging, but he's not participating in other ways. Let's see. Is there anything else we could do tonight? If we get some feedback or some questions on SHOT, we can talk about that. Otherwise, I don't have to do a marathon show. I just wanted to get back in the habit of doing some shows, see what would happen if I did a show live in the middle of the night, see who would show up, and see all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I'm going to play the robot a little bit, I guess, here. I'll figure out what else I'm going to do.
Fascinating stuff. And to keep all these segments running smoothly, they use guncalendars.com.
Guncalendars.com.
It's like a one-stop shop for industry events, historical anniversaries, legal updates, everything they need to keep things organized and fresh.
Oh, that's how they get it to 24 minutes. They're going to start reading stuff about or saying stuff about some of the websites that link to the website. Interesting.
Talk about dedication. They really go the extra mile to make sure their information is accurate and up to date.
Absolutely. But it's not just about keeping up with the news. They also dive deep into...
We do go the extra mile. A lot of other chats don't even bother with anything that's real because, one, it takes effort, and two, they're chasing what makes money. And that was one of the things they were talking about in that show earlier. There's definitely recipes that work, and people might chase those recipes that work, but they're full of like nothing. They're full of fluff. And what they left with is channels that make their money and they leave. So those recipes are pretty shitty, and we're not doing that. We're doing the hard work, the effort.
Specific themes each day of the week.
Themed deep dives.
Yeah, like Mondays are all about 2A new media.
Mondays 2A new media.
That's
let him take a correspondence course in radio production. He took a correspondence course in radio production literally, and now he's over here producing radio. So he makes a pretty good buck selling small transistor radios that he makes. He 3D prints the cases, and then he makes the transistors and resistors out of recycled tin foil and foil pouches. He heats up and makes a little press that he makes those with, and then uses some different wires and things that he recycles, and then has little transistor radios that he produces. Right. I forgot about that.
where they get really practical.
Oh, yeah.
Offering advice on creating gun-related content.
That's what we do on Mondays typically, and then for a little while there we were doing the 2A Tuesday. Or no, not 2A Tuesday. That's e-commerce. On Tuesdays we would do the 2A media workshops, and there's plenty of those in the bank. However, a lot of things, strategies and tactics and things are going to be the time determinant or something, like time dependent. So some of that stuff might have aged, but some of the theory and stuff should be sound.
So if someone wants to start their own YouTube channel or podcast,
yeah,
they'll give them tips on what cameras to use, what microphones to buy.
They even talk about specific editing software like OBS Studio, which is popular for live streaming.
Yeah.
And they even go into the algorithms of platforms like YouTube and Instagram.
Really breaking it down.
It's impressive how they make these technical things understandable.
Yeah.
Even for someone who's never created content before.
It's like a crash course in content creation.
It is. They even recommend resources like
interactive mode beta. What is interactive mode beta? I'm going to be testing something here. And I'll let it allow my microphone. Oh, maybe it's going to let me talk to the robot? Is that what's about to happen? Click and join.
Welcome in, everyone. Tonight's deep dive.
Oh, wait. Someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Hey. Am I part of the show now? What's happening? Did I do something wrong? Oh, start typing. Start typing. What is the Daily Gun Show's overall purpose and target audience? Man, I gotta type. I'm gonna just type this. Okay. Well, that's lame. So how do I go back to... Yeah, that was lame. So cancel. How do I go back to this?
Minuteman University.
Minuteman University.
Which offers more in-depth training.
Very cool.
It's clear they're passionate about empowering people to share their voices within the gun community.
Absolutely. And that ties in nicely with their Tuesday focus, exploring the Second Amendment.
Right.
But they do it state by state.
Wait, so they pick a different state?
Whoa, man, that brings back flashbacks. That was for a good many years that every Tuesday we would pick a state and dig into it and talk about its laws and where they were at with things like concealed carry and constitutional carry. There's a lot to talk about there. Every state's got different laws, of course, but once you get down to it, the laws that are similar are often just similar, not the same. So you can really get to where each state is a little bit different than each other. Then there's things that are pretty much universal or the same. And keeping track of all that was pretty much, a yearly thing. So, 50 shows a year, or I should say 50 Tuesdays a year, would give us the time to, touch on each state once a week. For a number of years we did that. I wouldn't mind doing that again. It's definitely a way to keep, constant monitor of that, of those states, of all the states.
Each week.
I should say, of that giant task.
Each week.
And dive into its unique gun laws, its history.
Yep, even the local gun culture.
Wow.
Like one week it might be Texas with its strong gun rights tradition.
Yeah.
And then the next week it could be California with its stricter gun control laws.
So they're not shying away from the politics.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
They acknowledge that there are different viewpoints out there.
Right.
And they try to present a balanced perspective.
That's so important with a topic like this.
It is. And they often feature guests from both sides of the debate.
Oh, wow.
So you might have someone from the NRA one week.
Yeah.
And then a gun control advocate the next.
It's refreshing to see a show
wish.
that doesn't shy away from those tough conversations.
I wish we would have definitely had gun control people on. However, have you ever met any gun control people on that have been on shows? Like, it just doesn't happen. Be nice though.
I agree. And it's not just about the big names. They also highlight the work of grassroots organizations and activists in each state.
Oh, that's cool.
So you get to see the people who are really making a difference on the ground.
Right.
And for listeners who want to learn more about specific state laws or organizations, they often recommend Every Second Matters.
Every Second Matters.
It's a website that has tons of information on Second Amendment issues.
So it's like a resource hub?
It is. They're giving you the tools to become a more informed citizen.
I love that. So Mondays and Tuesdays are all about education and empowerment.
Education and empowerment.
I never thought about that.
What about Wednesdays? I heard things get a little more lively.
Wednesdays are for fun and games.
Fun and games.
But with a tactical twist, of course.
Oh, tactical twist. So, we tried to do game shows starting back in the beginning, really. Not just on Wednesdays at first, but then we kind of shoved it to Wednesdays.
Ooh, tell me more.
Well, they have this segment called Tactical Quiz.
Tactical Quiz?
Where they test viewers' knowledge on everything from gun safety to historical trivia.
Sounds challenging.
And get this, Patreon supporters can actually play along live and win prizes.
Wait, they have a Patreon community?
They do. And they offer all sorts of perks like exclusive content, behind the scenes access.
We don't have that, so they just made that up. So he's confident about that, though, but that's not true. We pretty much put everything out. There's some secrets that go out to just Patreons, but it's not like we're making separate content for Patreons or anything like that. I've seen some channels do that, though.
Early access to merchandise. But it's more than...
Oh, you can definitely get stuff and more stuff as a Patreon, for sure.
Just the perks.
Yeah.
It's about building a stronger connection with their most dedicated fans.
I love how interactive they make the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why we don't call anybody fans, because hopefully you're part of the show.
And how they engage with their audience on all these different levels.
It's not just a one-way street.
No, it's not. And they don't stop there. They encourage viewers to share their own photos and stories on social media.
Really?
Yeah. Using the hashtag Daily Gun Show.
Can you imagine if you would use the hashtag that we would then go look at those photos? That's how we did it back in the day. That's how hashtags worked.
Say Daily Gun Show.
And often feature those submissions on the show.
Bringing the community together.
Exactly. Creating this feeling of shared passion.
It was a passion. This has always been a passion project for passionate folks who like the Second Amendment and what it protects. So that's the thing. We're still only 6 minutes into it. I'll go ahead and close it so we don't have to listen to it anymore. But I thought that's neat. A lot of people hear about the internet robots that are taking over everybody's jobs and everything. But are they really? Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. What else can we do? Since nobody's asking any specific questions about SHOT, I was thinking I was going to do some tasks. But now that I'm up here doing this, I forgot that if I try to do it on that screen, it's not really... It's too hard for me to see. And if I do it over here, I can't screen share it. So it's going to make it a pain in the ass to try to do the tasks I was going to do. And we're 30 minutes in. And I'm guessing everybody on Instagram is still scared to comment, because it looks like all of them, looking through all the comments that we've got tonight, were from the YouTube Ghost was out there. Gunpowder Beauty may or may not still be out there. Fine Ape may or may not still be out there. Gunmetal Guy working, probably. May or may not still be out there. Probably is. And then, a number of people, an undisclosed number of people on the X. I've thought about going to the Rumble. The problem is it's such a pain in the butt to set up Rumble every time that I just haven't done it. So I could try going live from Rumble, but I'm just getting back into the swing of lives here. So let's see what people think. We'll put this up, see what kind of feedback we get from it, and I guess we'll wrap it up since I'm not getting any feedback right now. So that'll be the end of this one. We'll be doing some chats on the other channel, talking about some of the interesting topics like drones and travel, and probably talk about Chacho more and more as it gets closer here. Well, now it's so weird. We had a massive jump, massive spike. Maybe that's the 30-minute reward. It's like a reward that YouTube gives you when you're live for a little while. They recommend this thing out, I guess, to a bunch of people because we just had a swarm of people show up. We'll see if any of them participate and become part of the show. And if they don't, then we'll get out of here. So Dan said, LOL. Welcome. But yeah, it's probably what happens. And then probably in an hour or something, they give you another rush of what's the word? Like they put you out in the search or whatever, and let people see that you're live, or maybe they move around the order of the live shows or something. We're just sitting here chatting. On Thursdays, we would chat about training and travel for the most part. And I was just playing with one of the robots to get the show started and trying to get people to start communicating, but to try to start interacting, give us some feedback, give us some questions. What's run by AI? The logarithms? They could be, I suppose. The AI that they're giving us to play with, I mean, I'm paying for it. I think technically I'm paying $25, $39, and I don't remember what that one costs because I paid it for the year. So let's just say 40, almost $50 a month for the robots right now. Paying for a lot of robots. But the problem is there's robots in like Adobe, and there's robots in places that I'm also paying for, I guess. So I might be paying more than $50 for robots, and I might be getting some robots for free. I'm definitely getting some robots for free. But the ones I'm paying for can do more, have better skill sets, I guess, like better, they can do cooler things. And the Chat GPT, at least for now, I pay for that one because it can remember what you're talking about from, each time you use it. So it's like having more and more like having a robot butler, or I guess a robot editor, something like that. Like a robot, what do they call it, copywriter? I don't know what you call it when somebody just rewrites stuff for you. But it's super handy having somebody rewrite stuff for you if you're, doing some project or something that can remember from time to time. So anyway, that one, I think ChatGPT is like $20, $25, something like that. It's a pretty big chunk, but like I say, it's a pretty powerful one. Anyway, we started the show off kind of talking about robots a little bit. Dan is saying that basically everything is run by the AIs these days. I don't think we've even seen the tip of the robot iceberg there. We'll see more and more of that, and then we'll, like everything, we'll have our interactions with it. We'll like it or not. We've already have the robot cars, right? We have cars that can drive around. I was just watching a thing where some robot car hits another robot, and so we're already dealing with permeations or folds in that whole thing. So it won't be too long before we do have robots interacting way more than we do today. And this stuff will seem like the, whatever, the crude radio or the crude photographs or the crude cell phones or the crude, anything. It all starts crude, and we're just playing with the beginnings of it right now. Sure is interesting, though. And, well, with that, we'll see again if anybody has any questions about travel or training. I think what we would do for a good chunk, we started the show in, what did it say, 15? There's no way we started at 15, did we? 16, maybe. I think we started it in the beginning of 16, like the March of 16 or something like that. So in the beginning, well, it changed a couple of times. So in the beginning, once we had it all kind of figured out in the beginning, we started to do travel and training, and I couldn't figure out which I wanted more, since we only had 5 days and we had other things on the other days. So they kind of both got folded into Thursdays. And for a while we tried to tackle each every Thursday, and that just, it's abbreviated. You can't do everything. So what we did is make 1 day travel. The next day would be, or the next week. So twice a month we would talk about travel. Twice a month we'd talk about training. The thing is, there's training haters. There's people that hate training. They don't like to talk about it. They don't like to hear about it. They'll tune out for it, which is fine. Like, I don't care. I've hated training in my day, and I've liked training, and now I'm in the middle. I still like training. I find it super interesting. And it'll save a lot of time, and it can also waste a lot of time. Like, it's not the perfect thing, but it's certainly a big chunk of what we got going on. And it can and has, or could and has not yet, really changed our whole situation. So think of something like the 4 safety rules that Cooper came up with. Keep your finger off the trigger. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. Don't shoot at anything you don't want to. Well, know your target and what's behind it, and don't shoot at anything you don't want to destroy. Is there another one? Like, keep your finger off the trigger, and well, I think that's the first ones, but I think that's all of them. But those 4 basic things are repeated over and over and over, no matter what kind of training you're doing, really. There's a couple of people who tweak it and make it 5 or perhaps 3, but or I guess 3, perhaps 5 is more common, to just make it the 3. And then but aside from a couple of tweaks, that's kind of persisted across the whole spectrum, and it's because it makes sense and it's short and sweet. So there's lots and lots and lots of things like that. What was I getting at? There's lots of ways to get that across to other people. A lot of people out there learning in different ways. Yeah, I just rambled there, so I lost where I was going. But essentially, the training has always been interesting to me, because the trainers and the what we train and who chooses to train has all been a reflection of the community and where we're at and where we're going. I guess I was saying that if you think about how there's so many different classes and trainers and courses and reasons to train, and all of those things have changed over time. So the people, the students, the instruction, the reasons, the ability, and the quality of training has changed over time. But something that stayed consistent, something that's pretty much across the board, is something like the 4 safety rules. And again, there's lots of things that I could point out that are consistent. Maybe the way that you might check or operate a pistol, for example. I mean, that's governed by the operation of most pistols, but because it's a pretty important piece of operation of guns and being aware of or safe with guns, it's going to be in all classes. Gunpowder Beauty saying eye and ear protection. Yeah, again, exactly. Something that nobody even thought about at one point. That's a great example, because nobody even thought about it. Like when I was a little kid, maybe you wore some kind of ear protection if it was sitting there because they had it for some reason, or maybe you put on glasses or something, but nobody cared if you didn't. And it was kind of there if you need it, there if you want it. But a lot of times it was like, oh, we bring this for the wives. So if you want to wear them, you can be a girl and wear them. And then nobody wore them because they didn't want to be a girl. So that was definitely a thing. And now it's more of a, I don't even think you can go places without doing all that. So that's been persistent. I think that's the right word, like all around everywhere. Anyway, so imagine if our rights were included in what is commonplace, and it ain't. Like, no one cared about our rights for a long time. It really wasn't until a bunch of nerds got together and started considering what would happen if we pushed the Second Amendment at something like a gun ban or the restriction on carry or ownership or purchase or any of those things that they restrict. And those nerds all got together and said, hey, what if we did? And they actually figured it out and brought out the case, and that created the McDonald case, and then that created the New York State Rifle Association versus the loser, Bruin. And Ezel, Rhonda Ezel, brought cases to the Supreme Court twice, fighting Chicago, and won both times. And then you have, did I say McDonald already, also going against the state of Illinois and Chicago. And then you got Michael Cargill, most recently, taking the state of Texas for the bump stocks and winning. So you've got all these, recent challenges to what's going on. You've got all the states doing constitutional carry, and imagine if that kind of stuff was talked about or brought up or championed, maybe that's the best word, in all the classes that are going on out there. It'd be a different place. There's Gizzard, welcome. So Dan asked an interesting question. Do you think the Second Amendment will ever go away? Nope, I don't think so. Not in the United States. I really think that it's ours to waste time. I don't think it's ours to lose is the right thing to say, because it can't be lost. I mean, who knows, like aliens set fire to it or something and then something else happens, maybe, I don't know if like total chaos happens, but barring total chaos happening or something like, some other foreign country goes to war and wins or something and like rips it up. I don't think it's, I think it's all the 10 amendments, Bill of Rights have been clear that they're pretty much, unchallengeable. Is that the right word? So I don't think it's going anywhere. As much as people act like they hate it, they love guns. Like, there's no anti-gunners today that don't love guns. It's just that they want guns to be in the hands of the state and to be used when they want them to, against who they want them to. They don't hate guns. They just hate the right of guns. So there's no real justification to remove it based on anything that's happening today. The stuff that's happening today is excuses for political wants and wants. Really, there's no needs. But they want guns removed, so everything they look at is guns are at fault. And that's what we're dealing with. The people that say they want to get rid of the Second Amendment don't have anything other than their wanting to get rid of it to back them up. So because of that, I guess I'm saying there's no challenge to it. I don't think it'll ever go away because it'll never really get challenged. If I'm missing what you're meaning there, feel free to to let me know if I'm missing it completely. Let's see. Gizzard says if the Second Amendment goes away, then the country as we know it is lost. So Gizzard said, as America as we know it is lost. Since I got a minute, I'll go off on a tangent. Back in the olden days, I don't think it exists anymore. Let me go look. We had a thing called Gun Chat. I don't even think if I own Gun Chat anymore. I think it was gunchat.net. I might have got rid of it back when I was trying to save money. And I guess I still own it, but there's nothing there. So if you want to buy it, I was selling it. I probably wouldn't sell it anymore. Actually, you probably could buy it off me right now. It's probably automated. But anyway, back in the old days, I could look at the Wayback Machine. Let's look at the Wayback Machine. It's been a while since I've done it. Let's get some nostalgia going. So I'm going to bring this back onto the screen, and I think I'm still here, right? I'm still talking. Still getting used to this. Gizzard saying in his time zone at least, still happy every second matters. Hey, without saying anything, did you see my Instagram / Discord thing without saying anything? And then that's a good point. So without saying anything more than that, did you see my Instagram message? But yeah, it's only 10:30 here, so it's definitely inside of. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I forgot. Okay, cool. Thank you. I forgot you can private message, I think, or I can I can private message somebody in this system, and I forgot about that. So I'm going to go to the Internet Archive, which is the Wayback Machine, and it's pretty awesome. So if I go to gunchat.net, it's going to show us a couple of things. First, it'll show us when it was really cooking, which was 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, and then you can kind of see where I've got on YouTube, and that's started happening. Then I put it back together, and it existed, but it wasn't the same. But let's go back to, well, I won't bore you with the whole origin story, but it started off, somebody else owned it, I think, and then I owned it, and then the software broke. Let's just say the software broke, and I had to rebuild it. And you can kind of see that happening right here, right? I mean, I guess I can zoom in here so you don't have to squint to see this. So nobody owned it from the beginning of the internet, and then somebody owned it. Let's go take a look at 2003. There's only one instance of it here. Oh, I should have opened in a new window. I wasn't thinking. Oh, no, shit, I was the first person to own it. So nobody owned it, and then I owned it. And that was it in 2003. And then by 2004, look at how many instances there is of it. So the bigger the instance, I think the deal is, the more often they grabbed it. So it was a big deal at that point on the internet. Gizzard will... Oh, wait, is it going to show me stuff? What's going on? Oh, they're trying to save themselves. So the Wayback Machine is pretty neat. They want you to help keep it going because it's free. Let's see. So it's not going to show me the ads, probably. No. There's a gun broker link, though. And that would have been... Oh, man, I don't even remember what. But the beginning of Advent Link, back in the olden days. And this gun broker link was a link through whatever Advent Link was a long time ago. But let's see. So if you went in here and clicked here to chat for free, what'll it do? See, it'll pop up an old forum. So this is what this is what the forum used to look like. This was a shit ton of work to put together back in the olden days. So we had forums, or what did you call these? Yeah, forums for hunting and target shooting and military, and then general rifle talk. A Glock, a Ruger, a SIG, an HK, and then other handgun. What weird things. This is back in the olden days. Remington, HK, Mossberg. We had an automatic full auto chat. You can see how many people chatted on these things or not. So not everything was necessarily got a lot of traffic or a lot of talking about. AK-47, AR-180. So back in these days, we would, and this was the beginning of it all. So the numbers are pretty low and stuff. But, and then what would happen if you clicked on shotguns? Oh, I think that just took you to that section of the forum. Yeah, well, it was pretty savvy. It was pretty, I remember putting that together. Anyway, so that was the old forum days. And back in those days, what were we talking about? Travel and training? Even back then, people didn't like training. Not everybody. And not everybody liked, or not everybody was able to travel. But if I come in here, and this is a year later? This was later on the same year. But I haven't really looked to see, or at least I don't remember I think it must have just taken a snapshot. So this was an actual snapshot. See, it says 2 guests and 0 users. So I don't know how that would have. That's literally a snapshot, or if it's somehow trying. It must have been a snapshot. It's so weird because all this is dynamic. Like none of this should have still exist. So it must have been some kind of snapshot. But anyway. Look, John Wayne Colt 45. We have a similar name out there these days. I wonder if it's the same person. But back in the day, we all used handles. Nobody used any kind of regular name. Anyway, sorry, going back and looking at the old chat, I definitely got a piece of nostalgia there. So anyway, that's how the Wayback Machine works. You can go back and look at any website from back in the olden days. I wonder if you could go back and read our conversations, though. Let me get back to where we started really rocking. So maybe 2008. Right before YouTube became a thing. Come in. Oh, look, I removed everything by then. Gun Broker is coming up as a different kind of ad already. Wikipedia is begging for donations. However, Wikipedia is super woke, so I won't pay anything to Wikipedia. I don't mind paying stuff to Wayback Machine because I like Wayback Machine. So Polar Bear Bait, I'm Bubba. Let's see, Polar Bear Bait. Oh damn, there's all kinds of people. I can remember back in the day now. Anyway, Polar Bear Bait was this guy up in Alaska. He collected bayonets. He sold them all. 10 bears. Hopefully 10 bears is still kicking out there. Judged by 12, carried by 6. Don't we have somebody like that on the YouTube? But anyway, a couple of these people were travelers, and this isn't showing up. Let me do a refresh to see if it'll show up better, if this is a more accurate representation of how I would expect the Wayback Machine to capture a forum. So you can tell I put different, maybe this was after the reboot, but you can see there's a different header at the top here. We had a lot more people after a while. You can see the numbers started creeping up here with the number of posts and the number of topics. So this would be a forum, these were people sponsoring it. So hunting rifles would be the forum. There'd be 109 topics in there with 1,900 posts about it. Yeah, that's how it went. Posts about it. So I wonder if you could go in here and look at that stuff. Because some of these, you could just go, instead of now, you go to YouTube and you look around and go, I'm going to look at so-and-so's video and see what they're telling you, see what their video is about. You could go into a forum and say, I want to talk about military and police shotguns. Yeah, it's not going to be able to do it. But if you open that up, you would get 9 different topics in there with 127 posts. And you could either go to the one that was getting the most posts, see which one was the most talked about, or the one with the most stuff feedback going back and forth, or just the one that was the most on topic to what you wanted to talk about. And you could create posts. So you could create a topic and then, create a topic, come back later and see who was replying to it. It wasn't quite like now because the internet was super slow, not just slow to load, but people weren't living on the internet very often. Some people worked on the internet, so they would be there all the time. Some people did just have an internet going all the time, but some people were on dial-up, so they'd jump on the internet twice a day, something like that. So, or once a day even. So you would get a response eventually, but sometimes somebody new would come along, especially once the thing was huge or the place was large, because then random people would come in and be part of the conversation. Anyway, it was all very new to the internet too, because we had just come out of an AOL situation where the internet was provided for you. You just looked around. It was like going to a mall versus going to stores individually. So we could build our own stores. We could build our own websites. We could build our own stuff. And people were new to exploring all this stuff. So it wasn't exactly the internet we have today for sure. People were still figuring it all out. So anyway, that was Gun Chat. And even back then, travel was a big ass thing. Like a bunch of the guys traveled. Bunch of the people traveled, I should say, because there's many guys, and we had a lot of girls too over there, so at least more than we have on YouTube, and a lot of couples. So there was a lot of females involved in having conversations and stuff. And at least I don't know, I'm not a girl, but it seems like they could have their conversations without dudes bothering them all the time, because it was just different. There wasn't, I don't know, they just could have their conversations, and dudes left them alone, had their own conversations. So I think the girls were able to, chat up whatever they were going to chat up, in addition to whatever we were chatting about guns, to some extent when we were traveling and stuff. And then the training, like I said, there's always been people that hated training, but the Gun Chat is where. So Gun Chat happened because I worked at AOL, so I was used to AOL. And then once everybody kind of got sick of AOL, started going out and doing their own thing, I started building my own websites. And AR15.com was a blog, or what do they call it, a forum back then. I don't know what they are now. Do they still exist? And they were a forum, and they were huge, but they were run by people that weren't in the United States, and they really didn't care. Like anything as far as like moderation and stuff was very rare. They would delete stuff, which was annoying, but they didn't stop people from harassing each other. And it was just fucking angry, and nobody liked it. At least nobody I knew liked it. We would sometimes go there because information was there, but nobody wanted to chat there. Nobody wanted to hang out over there. So I built, or actually there was one, I think a lot of the states made their own, at least states that have a lot of shooters. And then some areas of interest had a couple of forums. And those got pretty angry too, and petty. And because everybody was in Arizona, the Arizona one was especially annoying because there's only 2 cities in Arizona, right? Phoenix and Tucson. So if you were in that forum, you were in that forum because you didn't want to be at AR-15, or you were on both, I guess. But most of us were there because we didn't want to be on AR-15. But then people would still start the same kind of stupid shit on there that they did on AR-15. So I didn't even want to be on the Arizona one, really. And I had to be to watch matches and some things for competitions and for some organizations and things, but because they were in Arizona and they did all their stuff on that forum. But aside from that, I didn't want to talk to anybody over there. So I made my own. And what happened was it was just nothing. It was just me putting my own links to my own shit. And then other people started to show up. And what do you know? Then it became a massive thing because of 10 Bears and Recon, and well, Polar Bear paid after a while, but mostly 10 Bears and Recon. And then I can't think of his name. There's a couple other people who, if I started scrolling through here, I would remember some of their other names. But essentially a couple of really cool people that hung out and guided people. And that's what you really need on a forum, on anything really, is, a couple of people that say, hey, welcome, you're new. Take a look around. Here's where to, here's where to do this, or here's where that is. Or here's when we chat the most, and you'll find the most people around here, like Thursday nights or something like that. So we ended up having a really, really pleasant forum and a lot of girls. It was great. So I always thought the internet was boys and girls until YouTube happened, and then you figured out like, oh, girls aren't really around gun stuff very much. But up until then, it was pretty good. But anyway, it was pretty fun. And what was I getting at? That I guess I was talking about training. That we're sitting here minding our business one day when it was really rocking. It was really rocking. It was first started, but we had a couple, like 10 Bears was already around. And some guy came in and started spamming. And spam was a thing back then on a forum. You would get people that jumped in and put a bunch of spam in there. And that's another reason monitors were so good. they could delete all that spam, and they would tell us like, hey, we're getting a shit ton of spam from this ISP, so I could go in there and block it. It was that kind of shit back in the day. So anyway, this guy came in and spammed us from Front Sight, and instead of just blocking him, I said something to the effect of, hey, what the hell, dude? Like, what are you doing? And then he said, oh, blah, 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 Front Sight's so good. I said, well, if it's so good, put up or shut up, like to send us up there or quit spamming my forum. And he goes, yeah, no problem. Here, come up for a week or something. So I asked around and got a couple of people, and I was like, hey, do you want to go up there? We went up there for a week and took a bunch of their classes, like a 4-day class and a 3-day class and another one, maybe 2 more. I don't know. We took a lot of classes and hung out up there. And from that point on, I was hooked, and I started taking classes constantly. So I would talk about classes a lot, and that probably brought people in because either students or other people just interested in seeing the classes, because I took the classes, but I would also audit because I couldn't afford to take all the classes. I would audit the classes, and because I was auditing them, I was doing a lot better coverage than people who would take the class and take like 2 or 3 pictures and then just write a bunch of shit. So I would take a bunch of pictures and write a little. Like I wasn't a writer or nothing. We didn't have no AI back then. So I think a lot of people would show up just because I'd take pictures and write a little bit, but then, you know, somebody would have something in a forum or one of our threads, I guess, they're called threads, for you know, maybe an instructor or a class or something, and then they could ask a question, I could answer it, type of thing. So a lot of people would, or not a lot, but a portion of people showed up because of the whole training thing. All right, now I'll jump over and read some of these questions, or read some of the comments. So Dan is saying forums were awesome. They kind of were. I mean, in a lot of ways, the way we use YouTube is like a forum. At least I use YouTube. I use it like a forum. But as much as I liked forums, I liked gun channels better. Gun channels, when we were live, essentially it was a forum with a live chat that certain people could jump into. Everybody could join, and certain people would be the boss of. Is that how it worked? Not even, because we couldn't share. Oh no, people would share their YouTube channels, wouldn't they? Some people would, but for the most part, it was like having a mix of forums and live. It was kind of like, it wasn't really, but yeah, I agree. Let's see. So Dan clarified, I guess, do you think any gun laws will change for the better the 4 years that Trump is in? I guess it's too early to see. I think we'll probably see some resistance to whatever he's going to do. But I'm not as concerned as some people about the level of that commitment, or like the level of crap that people are going to pull. They hated him the first time pretty hard. I remember that one, I forget her name. I don't know her name. There's the one comedian who was on, she's not funny or anything, but she was on news radio with Rogan back in the olden days. And she held up like a head of Trump, like all bloody and everything, like if she chopped off his head. And like, I remember nobody giving a shit about that back in the olden days. So we're probably going to see stuff like that going on all the time. And we'll just see like how long they keep that kind of crap up because they hate him so bad. And I can't imagine him doing anything that'll win them over. So I imagine he's either going to do stuff to piss everybody off, or piss people off who hate him, or he'll just ignore that shit and do whatever he's going to do. Like, I don't know what his whole deal is, trying to piss people off. And of course we know that they're like overly sensitive to that shit. So I guess the reason I'm bringing all that shit up is, you know, it depends on if he's doing all that. If he's doing all that, then we probably won't see much of anything with guns, or if we do, we'll just get stepped on like we did with bump stocks. But if he's not doing all that dumb shit, and he's in there to make a legacy for himself or actually try to do something, which I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he is, then we might see him take some feedback on what he did wrong last time and see him do some positive shit. But I consider positive shit clearing the misunderstandings. Like some positive shit would be to explain suicides and the number of suicides. 2 out of 3 deaths with a firearm are suicides. And if he could bring that up in a way that makes it clear to people that they're being duped, they're being conned, they're using numbers but not using numbers correctly. If he was able to talk about when they say about children dying, they're talking about kids quote unquote up to 19, but out the other side of their mouth they'll say up and down that anyone 18 to 21 can't be a kid and they can't own a firearm. So if he clarified some of that, not just to prove us right as much as to show people, hey, there's a lot of bullshittery going on here, and at the same time offer some sort of insight to what's going on the gun side. And I'm talking about like the change, the shift in just our vibe, like in our whole dynamic. Like, sure, there's new gun owners, yeah, but the gun owners that have been gun owners our whole lives, not just old people, but anybody who has had a gun their whole lives, we're just different than the casual gun owner of the olden days. Because of laws and because of costs, we cherish our gun ownership just so much more than anybody would have in the 50s when it was a casual thing that wasn't under attack. So because of the assholes who hate our rights so bad that they have to focus like some kind of weirdo on just one piece of property, that's kind of important, it levels the playing field and stuff, but they're so focused, laser focused on that it's going to be their undoing. So anyway, I think that if he was able to do anything towards any strides at all towards any of that, then that'd be awesome, because he's got the forum to do it. He's got the potential to do it. I don't know if if it was broken down to him in a way, like if one of the 3-letter organizations that are national level, I don't say 3-letter because there's some of them that are 5 letters and they're fucking horrible, but any of the multi-million-dollar national level organizations that say that they're for gun owners' rights, if any of them would get his ear and explain to him, like, look, you can end this by just clearing up the misunderstandings. Again, not just to claim that we're better or we're right, but to fucking clear up the misunderstandings and take away the ammunition from Bloomberg. Again, not just to prove that we're right, but to like get to the fucking issues. Like, look, we're worried about people dying, then let's worry about people dying. Two out of every 3 with a gun is from suicide. And if we take just the guns away, they're going to change that to hangings, and then they're going to ignore them and they're going to go after some other gun thing. So why don't we actually solve that problem and then look at the rest of them are crimes? And almost all of those, I'm willing to bet, are cartel-based at this point because they're drug-related. So there's multiple ways to address that have nothing to do with gun owners or guns. And if we can, again, clear that up so that the people who hate us so bad because we have guns or hate us because we're willing to understand guns, if we can clear that up and then they can put that energy towards saving some of the 2 out of 3 deaths with a firearm from suicide. There's so many ways that, I listen to podcasts constantly. I listen to more podcasts on that than I do about gun reviews, because there's so many things that are being done to work towards reducing that number. None of them are from Bloomberg. None of them are funded or acknowledged by Bloomberg. None of them are studied or looked at or acknowledged by. But anyway, so if Trump can do any of that kind of stuff, then I think we could see some. I think what we would see is the lack of opposition to ownership. And once that happens, we don't have to worry about like gun laws getting better, because we'll see onerous or heinous gun laws being removed. And then the lack of laws is just freedom. So let's see. I forgot what the question I asked was, but Gary said yes. Oh, I think we were talking about if he heard about what I was asking about, the thing that's a big secret. And then, again, Wikipedia. I used to like them because it was fun to mess with them, and it used to be useful. It's not always useful. It's often as wrong as AI because of the way that it's created, and everybody knows that. I'm not bitching about it. I'm just saying it's not perfect or anything, and it knows it isn't. But they're super, like, worse than woke. Like, they're intentionally trying to be dicks just to, I don't know, because they get some kind of pleasure out of having the ability to wield that power. So I don't like them for what they're doing. They started out with a good intent, and now they're strayed from that. Why are people so emotional about Trump? I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, he's definitely just the, what do you call it? Like, he's just the thing that they were going to get upset anyway, and he's the thing that they can get upset about because he's right in front of them. But I don't think Trump himself is the issue, because everybody loved him like 5 minutes. Either everybody loved him when he was on that TV show, or they didn't give a shit about him when he was on that TV show. The only time anybody gave a shit about him is when they were told to. So, you know, it's that whole thing. And so I guess my answer is because they were told to, but I don't think they know why. And I'm saying that based on what little experience I have dealing with people who are anti-Trump. And that's largely from people that were at a rally that was anti-gun. And the people that we did end up chatting with were essentially frothing at the mouth about Trump every time we said something. You know, I asked them a question about guns. So, you know, it just shows that I think there's like literally blinded with their hatred. So, you know, you could have a thing that said, we hate puppies because Trump likes puppies. And they'll be like, damn right, we hate puppies. You know, they're going to hate whatever Trump likes and like whatever Trump hates. But I think there's more to it than that. Like I say, I think it could have been Whoopi Goldberg if she decided to get up and piss off whoever it was that started that whole thing. Whoever decided that Trump was the bad guy. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. The pro-Trump side is people that like to piss off the people who get pissed off. And that's, you know, like, you know, if they would have said, hey, we don't like the middle finger, instead of wearing Trump hats, they'd be wearing middle finger hats. Like, that's just people that get probably stepped on at work or something and by some jerk. And then when they are off work, they don't have to worry about that guy. So they're going to do whatever it is to piss off that guy. And right now it's Trump. So I think it's that. I don't know. I guess it's possible to like Trump so much, but I think they really don't like other people that like Trump, or they don't like the people that hate Trump. Is that the way to say it? But that's a good question. And I'm just talking out my ass. It's not like I've done any research at all. But I'm just going off of anybody who's going to drive around, like at least in Tucson, there's people that drive around with these big 4x4s with Trump flags off the back. And I'm like, well, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even do that for NASCAR and shit. So I don't know. You're only doing that because you probably get so much shit for having a giant 4x4 from people that think it's obnoxious when you drive up next to them and have to smell their fucking exhaust. But then you wouldn't have bought that vehicle if you didn't like the idea of throwing your exhaust in everybody's windows. So again, I think he's just the, what's the word? The, what do you call that? He's the, why can't I think of that word anymore? What do you call the like little pebble of sand that becomes the pearl? He's the instigator? No. He's the, I must be getting old. Or I don't think I'm that tired. I've been drinking a stupid Monster all day. He's the, dang it. The scapegoat? I don't know if that's the right word. We're on one too. But he's the placebo? I don't know. I can't think of the word. Maybe it's the people that were Hillary in them, because he beat Hillary. That's when it all started. So like I say, if it would have been Whoopi Goldberg that beat Hillary, And her motto was, I don't know, make America, I don't know what she would say. Make America the View again. Then everybody would hate the View and hate people that wore View hats, you know? Like I think it just literally could have been anybody. It just happens to be him. And then he plays into it, right? He leans into it, I guess. So he ain't helping nothing. It's not like he goes, oh shit, it bothers people to mean tweet him. He just starts mean tweeting them more. I guess. I don't really know. Pay attention, but that's what you hear all the time. Well, appreciate the feedback. I was about to shut it down quite a while ago. Then Dan started throwing some feedback in here. That's what it's all about. You, especially the people on X who are listening to this, not just for free, but they're getting the benefit of people like Ghost and Gunpowder Beauty and Fine Ape and Gunmetal Guy and Dan and Gizzard. Am I missing anybody? Who are doing all the hard work, all the heavy lifting, so to speak, by asking all the questions over here. Did I say Fine Ape already? And Gunmetal Guy? I think I did. But yeah, I don't think I'm seeing anybody else. I am still getting used to the way that the comments come in on this Stream Lab. I forget what this thing is called. I'm paying for this monthly, so look at this. Look at this. A comment from X. Thanks, Gizzard. So Gizzard has proven that you can actually type things into X and they'll show up on screen over here. Appreciate that. And hopefully that encourages other Xists to be part of the show. You don't have to just read those X posts. You're allowed to be part of the internet also. Do I prefer, anybody can answer this one if you want, but Dan is asking, do you prefer X or Facebook more? I hate Facebook with a passion. I always have. I came from AOL, which I liked. I knew most of the people at AOL, and I thought it was a pretty good place. I did a lot of stuff there. I had a lot of fun. And I only left for family reasons. I would have probably stayed if not. And I mean, I'm probably only remembering the good stuff. There was some bad stuff, but I got paid a lot of money to do nothing. So it was a pretty good job to be part of. And I learned a lot of shit. Then I worked at Microsoft for a little while. And that was more like when you work there, you get free training. And I liked that whole idea. Plus, I wanted to work there, so it sounded cool. And that was a good experience. And I didn't mind leaving there. I didn't mind working there. I definitely got a lot of training. So I'm cool with both of those companies. And I don't know a lot of people. Well, people don't probably give a shit about AOL, but I know a lot of people hate Microsoft, and I could see that. But I also really enjoyed working with them and learning how they teach and stuff. Learning how they teach employees to do their thing. Like I like that. It was a good experience. Facebook, I have no interest in any of that. Like, it seems like a giant mess to me, and I don't like their whole. Oh, the other thing is AOL was pretty fun. Like, there was no evil bullshit behind AOL. AOL was so worried about everybody having a good time on their, while they're at AOL, and they were so conscientious that like there was a whole like infrastructure. Holy shit! It scared the crap out of me. So thanks to Chris, I guess, for subscribing. So I guess it makes a noise at me. I'll have to change that to something that doesn't scare the shit out of me. At AOL, like they gave a shit. Like if there's something wrong, there was a whole infrastructure of people. Like a whole number of people, like a whole team of people whose job was to make sure that everything was safe on AOL, which was awesome. Like, so if a person was having a stressful time and somebody alerted somebody, like there was no AI or nothing back then. But if a human would say, hey, something's happening over here, like something was done about it. It was awesome. Like police were rolling, like the stuff happened. It was neat. Like they really cared. It was a real company. And it was huge and everything. So that was a neat experience. I get the impression that Facebook is a massive mess. Facebook, Amazon sound like just massive messes. Anyway, so I've always had no interest in Facebook at all, and that's reasons why. And well, at least my main reasons why is I just never liked them. And then that being said, that was at the beginning, right? When did Facebook start? 8 or 7 or something? Like, I don't even know when it started because I was probably on it, but I didn't like it. I think I had to use it for a little while, but it was also doing things that I was making websites to do. So it was starting at the same time we were starting. So it was doing things that we were trying to do with our websites. So I didn't have any interest in the idea of that. Like, I definitely didn't want to use it to talk to our clients, for example, or something when we had our own infrastructure to do that. But, so I didn't like it as it was growing. But then as I saw what it was doing to the world and to people, I was like, hell no. You know, it's one of the reasons we have shorter and shorter and shorter shit. So I've always hated Facebook. Twitter, same way. I just never paid attention to Twitter until it changed into X. In fact, I was off of it for the most part because it was just a waste of time. It was mostly people bickering and trying to do it with the short, 256 characters type of thing. But once they changed it to X, then it's weird. So thanks for subscribing, I guess. I wonder why it makes noise. If it was a super chat, I could see it making noise, but why tell me when somebody's subscribing? Anyway, can you imagine on a channel with a shit ton of subscribers, like where they have 1 million subscribers, that thing would be going bling, 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 just all the time, because people are like, oh, I accidentally got deleted or something. Like, there'd be just people anyway constantly subscribing. And then, like I say, so now I like X pretty good, but I don't love it or nothing. I don't hang out there. I understand it more and I appreciate it more, but yeah, we're over there now, so we'll see. We definitely get more viewers from X than YouTube, but they could be fake for all I know, because Gizzard's the only one that's actually ever texted from over there. Facebook is fake. That's another reason I don't like Facebook. Facebook, I mean, unless they've changed something, I haven't paid attention in a long time because I could care less anymore. But at a time when it mattered, years ago, Facebook would count a view as anybody who's seen the video. And sometimes I think all you had to do is see it referred to you. So you could be just minding your business on Facebook scrolling and somebody links to a video, let's say a live video, and you see it, right? I don't even think you had to play it. I think you could have just seen it go by in your scroll, and that would count as a view. And on YouTube, unless I'm wrong, like a view requires someone to watch the thing for like 30 seconds or something like that. And then it's a view. So you'd get like 17 views on YouTube and 170 views on Facebook. Or you'd get 1,000 views on YouTube and 10,000 views on Facebook. And everybody would go, oh, wow, Facebook is so popular. Like Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And I always thought that was corny. Is that the way to say it? Like, I thought that was fake as shit. So Facebook, it seems like, is doing it fake and trying to mess with people. And then you can buy ads on Facebook. And I just see too many people participating in that, that it seems like might be over there. If you can be abused by anybody who wants to make a buck, paying Facebook to make a buck off of you. Like, I mean, YouTube has ads, but we know what their ads are about. You know, Oreo cookies is trying to make us buy Oreo cookies, so they put an Oreo cookie ad up there. They pay YouTube for it, and we can all make videos, and everybody's happy. You know, YouTube takes a 30% cut of a super chat. All right, you know, it sucks, but it's their platform, and they're enabling us to get the super chat in the first place. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense. But Facebook, like, anybody could say, you know, I want to, I mean, think of whatever, like, you know, I want to sell to this kind of person with this kind of dog, who has this kind of habit, who has this kind of car, who has this kind of, you know, appetite, and they eat at this time of day, and they can put some kind of slimy shit in front of you at that time. And it just doesn't even bother people, and it's gotten people numb to that. And I think that they have to own that they've done that to society because they're so big. So anyway, I hate Facebook. And then Gizzard is saying they have too much censorship. That's a tough one because YouTube, every single day, pretty much, I get another notice about how they've taken down some of our videos or turned them into where nobody can watch them. And I don't really care. I'm not doing this for fame or fortune, but I've always said that. But at the same time, it's just annoying when you put a lot of work into something and you know, I've got like, I don't know, do I have 7,000 videos over here? I have a bunch of videos over here. Like there's 3,000 on the other channel. It's either 5,000 and 3,000 or it's 7,000 and 3,000. I forget. But anyway, it's thousands and it's hundreds less because every day YouTube decides to delete a couple of them. And I don't know if that's YouTube automatically, you know, giving a shit out of nowhere or just some, you know, negative Nancy cruising by and deciding I'm going to complain or object to all these different videos that, you know, make me clutch my pearls, and YouTube just taking her word for it and deleting my videos. But so the YouTube censorship, like I deal with on a daily. The Facebook, I have only dealt with the Instagram, and it's pathetic. Like Instagram used to be cool, but in like 2000 and maybe 15 to 2017 or 18, Instagram was pretty much rocking. It was pretty cool. Lots of guns, a lot of gun community stuff happening over there. Activism, like lots of rallies, lots of rallies actually. For us, lots of touring, lots of travel. A lot of this show happened on Instagram. So it must have started in 15 or 13 and then lasted till about 18, 19. But anyway, yeah, Instagram just ran it into the ground. And it's Facebook. Facebook ruined it. When it was its own thing, I think it was a little bit better, but then Facebook just ruined it. So I hate Facebook. And also I don't like the guy who runs it. I think he's a jerk. So, yeah. There's another person from Canada. Welcome. I don't know what is happening in Canada. We definitely need to get up to date on what's happening, and hopefully it can be salvaged before everybody's collections get destroyed. Thomas is saying, I loved your videos on the ammo collection. What's my opinion on Chinese surplus 7.62x39 ammo? Well, I definitely have opinions on it. Are you kidding me? The current Chinese 7.62x39 I have is 201.72. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say 2024. I was like, dang it, you got current ammo? So I don't know when you watched the ammo collection video, because I've had an ammo collection since I was a little kid, and I don't remember really when I started putting it on YouTube. But I do remember nobody likes my ammo collection, so it's boring and nobody likes it. So whenever I was trying to do stuff on YouTube, I didn't do much with it. And then after I could care less anymore, I started putting more of my ammo collection up. And whenever I moved my ammo collection, I put a new stuff up. And then for a while there, I did put a lot of ammo. Like I had an ammo of the day series going for a while. So what'll happen is, I guess usually when I go in there and move it or something, if I get something, maybe like, or if I went somewhere or something and I added a bunch of stuff, or a couple of things had to happen. I had to have time and the ability to go in there and mess with it. So if I didn't have nothing else going on, and there was a couple of times in my life when that happened, and that's how I would enjoy myself, is go in there and play with my ammo collection or resort it or something. So I don't know which video you've seen, but I appreciate it. And one day in the future, when I'm old, I'll do more ammo collection videos for sure. It's one of the coolest things about gun collecting is when you can finally start to collect ammo. But guess what? You can also do it when you're a little kid. So if you're going to the range and you got a little kid with you, then that little kid better be collecting ammo, because otherwise they're going to get mad in the future when they go, what? I could have been collecting ammo my whole life and you didn't tell me? So tell them now. Just make them wash their hands, that's all, because of the lead or whatever. Let's see. So, like, wash their hands after. But you should always be washing your hands after the range. Let's see. So then what's your opinion on Chinese surplus ammo? I'm a big fan. Like, I like it a lot. I have a bunch of it. It's impossible to get it all, I think. I've seen drawers and drawers and drawers of it, so I understand. Like, I've literally seen how impossible it is to have a complete collection of it, or even to get near a completed collection, because there's so many things to collect about it. I mean, that can be said for most countries, but China definitely it can't be the largest, I guess, but it could easily be the second largest source of ammo on the planet, 7.62 by 39 ammo on the planet. It's the coolest looking. It's got the most. It's fun to collect because it's got the least information, and there's no way to ever get the information. So it's got nothing but speculation. And then you've got the fact that they supply it to all of our enemies. Anyone we've ever fought with has had Chinese ammunition shooting at us. All the other ammunitions might have been made for that, but probably never did. Maybe some Russian shit, but for the most part, it's probably Chinese ammo that was being shot at us and all of our allies. So it's the most real of all ammo. And at the same time, spam cans that were used to kill and shoot at our dudes were also packed up and sent to us to shoot recreationally at a hill. So it's got the most, double mirror existence than pretty much any of the others. It's the most amazing ammo, probably, of all the 7.62 by 39s that's collectible, except for Russian. But and then all the specialty stuff. But then you've also got the fact that what's-his-face, the first Bush, deleted it or, turned it off, turned the supply off, and not one president since has had the foresight to turn it back on. What if this whole time the whole pressure with China has been the whole fentanyl precursor bullshit has all been because they're swimming in 7.62 by 39? All we got to do is open up that trade again. We get flooded with dollar cases, 1,000 rounds for $1, get shipped over here for free, delivered to your door, 1,000 rounds for $1, 7.62 by 39s, Chinese steel case, steel tip, and also tracers, and also incendiary. $1 for 1,000 rounds. That's what's going to happen. All the suckers who don't even own an AK are going to be like, damn it, I should have owned an AK. I'm sitting here with a bunch of ARs like a chump, not being able to shoot any of this 7.62 by 39 that's coming in from China that costs $1 for 1,000 cases. I'm going to take like $20 and go buy like 20 cases. Somebody else is going to take like $100 and buy like 100 cases. And then it'll all be gone for a while. And all those chumps that are shooting ARs are going to go, dang it. Yeah, I guess SKSs also. You can shoot those. But, all the chumps, they're going to be going, dang it. Shooting 5.56 like a chump. I'm paying real money for this ammo. That's probably what's going to happen with 7.62 by 39. And that kind of answers the earlier question about what Trump is going to do. So, there you go. Probably he's going to make it so that 7.62 by 39 Chinese ammo will cost $1 for 1,000 rounds. Let's see. One of the videos inspired me to start my own collection. I have found a Tround. What? You found one? Or like you were able to source one? And several rare rounds. 33 WCF and 50 110 at a local auction. Okay, so that's interesting. A local auction house that's auctioning ammo or just auctioning stuff and ammo came up. I need to know about that. 55 100. I've seen 45 110. Have I seen 50 110? Bob had a 45 110, or was it a 45 120? It was the longest ammo I've ever seen. He had a Quigley gun that was made by Sharps, I guess, and it was all fancy. I forgot what it cost, maybe $3,000 or something. And it had a giant leather scabbard for it. It was pretty awesome. But it was, I think it was 45. I don't think it was 50. So a 50 110 is massive. That's got to be like a Sharpie marker or something. So I don't know what I've got in 110s. I don't even know if I have a 45 110 because Bob had a bunch of boxes of it. I can't remember if it was 110 or 120. It might be 120 because I'm so used to saying 110. And that seemed unusual to me that it was 120. But anyway, I don't even think I have one because those boxes were like money. Like there was $5 or $6 for one round, and he wasn't going to just let me have one round out of there. So I don't even know if I have one in my collection. Plus, isn't it long? Is it longer than a 50 BMG? I mean, I don't know if I ever put them next to each other, but it's probably every bit as long as a 50 BMG. It's at the the maximum length. So for that reason, I don't think it would even fit in my in my cigar box. But let's see. So then 33 WCF. I don't know if I have that. What is WCF? Winchester cartridge something? But 33. I did get a bunch of cowboy ammo one time, and I might have some 33 WCF, but it doesn't ring a bell, so that's a pretty neat one. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you've got an ammo collection. I mean, everybody should have an ammo collection, period, because you've got a lot of ammo and whatever. Like, you're going to go to the range, you're going to shoot like most of a magazine, something happens, starts to rain, and now there's like 2 rounds in your hand or something, you put them in your pocket. Boom, that should be going into an ammo collection. One, just interesting, once you get old and you're bored, you can look at it. But 2, what if you have a little kid running around? Now you can give that little kid some inspiration and something to do. Like I say, a little kid going to the range is probably bored, unless you're really good at keeping them entertained. But keep them looking down, unless, take the phone away from them immediately anyway. But then when you take them to the range, tell them look down and grab anything that looks different. Try to find as many different things as they can. And now they're doing that, right? Their eyes are getting better. They're doing it. Once they've got some of their own ammo, they're going to figure it out. And then you just stand back and watch them collect. But that's free, like at every range. And seriously, like, how often have you been to a range and you're standing there bored? All of those times you could have been looking for ammo. And once you collect ammo, you're going to figure out what you like. Maybe you like cowboy ammo, maybe you like revolver ammo, maybe you like something else. Like, whatever you like, you're going to find out that it's laying all over the place at the ranges. And then you can get into shops and go to gun shows and more, and start talking to people online and making some trades and stuff. And yeah, a lot of fun. Is it for everybody? Maybe not. I don't know. But it only takes like a portion of a shelf, like, a little piece of wood or something on the wall with some things. That can be half the fun, is figuring out how to display it or how to store it. Then you can go, I want all as many 38s as I can get. I want to get as many types of calibers as I can get. I want to get as many things in steel cases as I can get. I want to get as many things from this company as I can get. I want to get as many things made in 1953 or whatever, some random date, right? Like, there's so many ways to collect ammo, and it's all fun, because no matter what of those any things I just said, plus all the other things, all the boxes that are blue. What if you had just a collection of ammo boxes that are predominantly blue? How cool would that be? Like, that would just be so cool. Things made in some country or something. So there's any result of any kind of collection like that. Oh, Winchester centerfire, duh. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. For some reason, while I'm talking, I couldn't think of F. I knew it was Winchester something. Barbecues out there, welcome. I was chatting with Gun Show, what's it called? Gun Show Radio, I think. They were talking about SHOT Show a little bit, talking about different things, and then they quit talking. They went off air. So I decided to go live for a little bit and chat about SHOT Show. It's Thursday, so chat about SHOT Show, chat about travel, and we've been chatting about comments that are coming up on the screen. Let's see. So then he says the Tround was in the box of 600 rounds. I was after the 303 British ammo mainly, and there was a bunch of other rounds I had to research. Okay, so then, like, you bought a 600 round ammo collection? Oh, duh, let me go up here. It was in a box of 600 rounds. I bid on at the auction house. They have firearms and ammo auctions. Okay, we have Gun Freedom Radio has their AZ Firearms has an auction. Sounds kind of similar then. Like, they'll have random things, but often firearms and ammo and lots of ammo and stuff. A lot with different ammo in it. And then he says the Tround was in a box of 600 rounds. I was after the 303 British ammo mainly, There was a bunch of other rounds I had to research. That's awesome. I finally got a tround at the big gun show that happens after SHOT Show every year. And, you got the box of 600 rounds for $100. It's a little steep for what I would spend, but if you got a tround in there, it's totally worth it. And I don't know what ammo is worth. 303 is probably worth something these days. Or do they still make it? Is there machine guns that use it? Or is it a dead caliber? Like the 30-06 is a pretty dead caliber here, even though there's some machine guns that use it because there's no surplus ammo for it. And nobody really uses it for hunting anymore. So I'm assuming 303 is the same way, but I might be wrong. So I got my tround from a guy at the gun show, and when I was chatting with him, I was like, dude, this is awesome. I've never even heard of one being for sale. And it was like $9 or $8 or something crazy. I think it was like less than $10 if I remember right. For a tround. It was like a 38 tround or something. And he goes, yeah, I got a bunch of them. So he had did he have a magazine of them or like a package of them or something that I couldn't afford? I mean, I didn't have any money at the time, but $8 I did. So anyway, I bought it off of him, and then I was telling him like, oh yeah, I'm a big nerd for ammo collecting. Obviously this guy is, otherwise he wouldn't be selling trounds. But turns out he's the guy that promotes, or he's the promoter of the I don't know if it's called the promoter, but he's the guy that's in charge of the big giant ammo show that happens in Missouri every year. So it was pretty neat buying a tround from this guy who was doing that show. That being said, I never was able to contact him to get him to come on and be a guest and chat about the show. But I would definitely like to go there and just, be super bored by a bunch of ammo nerds telling me about the ammo that they like that I don't care about. Because I only care about 7.62 by 39 and 50 BMG, and then some other calibers like 22 short, and then anything smaller than 22 short. But, actually, and then I like the weird stuff. And I guess I technically like 5.45 because I have to. And then the Dushka round, whatever that one is, 12.6 or something. But anyway, I don't really get into all the cowboy stuff, even though I have a bunch of it. That's because I'm living in Arizona and it's just here. I don't think I would have sought it out otherwise. That's not true. The rimfire stuff is pretty neat. I probably would have got a sampling of this rimfire stuff, but since I can get it by the handfuls out here, I've definitely acquired a lot of it. Let's see. They still make, I'm guessing you're talking about 303. They still make it in soft point. My 20 rounds is $70, and I use my 1970 Lee Enfield for hunting. Oh, okay. There's people that use 30-06s out here for hunting. It's not cool anymore. Now everybody uses whatever cool gun they've seen on YouTube. Barbecue saying 303 British and 303 Savage I still see being manufactured. 30-06 was huge because 30-06 is huge here still because of deer season. Oh, okay. I'm just saying that I guess do guns still get chambered in 30-06? Like most of the 30-06s are old Springfields that have been, hunter, or what do you call it? What do they call that? Sporterized? Oh, what did they call it back in the old days? But turned into a hunting rifle. But that's just my experience growing up. I don't know if they still make guns in it. I just assumed if they make guns in calibers nowadays, they're fancier calibers. Now, is British and Savage the same thing? 303 British and 303 Savage? I can't remember. Let's see. What about the 7.62 by 45? What about it? I might have a round or two. Is that for that Czechoslovakian one? I think I bought a box of it accidentally one time. And then once I knew what it was, I think I might have bought a couple of other rounds from it, from Don Bell, but I don't remember. He says, yep, the Seiko and Tika rifles and Savage. They all make them in 30-06, you're saying? Barbecue, I think, is saying the same thing. Yeah, modern rifles are still being chambered. Okay. Yeah, okay. Barbecue is saying that 303 British and 303 Savage are different. They're similar manufacturing. I don't know what that means. 300 Savage ammo. Okay, the yawns all of a sudden. Let me play a commercial here and drink a bunch of this Monster Energy drink if I can find my commercials. AskGunQuestions.com is a website that we built back in 2007, and since then, for the last 15 years, people have been able to ask questions of simple to advanced nature, and we attempt to answer them in different ways over the years. Join us now as we start a new series to answer gun questions. Just so you know, that's going to be a lot louder than the rest of the show, probably. Just a heads up. Let's see, Brian, welcome, is saying, I saw a new Savage in 30-06 the other day. It was a good, hard-hitting round. All right, right on. I mean, I got nothing against 30-06. When I had my Springfield, I liked it a lot. It was sporterized already, so I got it cheap. Then I sold it like a dumbass, but oh well. I didn't need it. It didn't have a bayonet on it anymore, so I didn't want it. But I would buy belt 30-06 in belts, and I think they cook 30-06 hotter when they're putting it through a 1919. Is that what that thing is? No, 1918, whatever that 30-06 is, belt-fed one. Don't they make that hotter? So I think I was shooting hotter ammo than the typical stuff, because I had bought, I don't know, maybe like 3 feet of belt or something back a long time ago when I was a little kid. And I just was shooting that most of the time. I'm not supposed to shoot it for hunting, but that's what I would shoot at the range, or if I was just out in the desert shooting. We didn't shoot that thing too much because that thing kicked a lot because of that, and compared to all the other junk we were shooting. But mainly because I only had that one belt of ammo. I didn't want to shoot it all, just at the hills or whatever. Because back in the day, remember, I think we would spend we'd get mad when we had to pay $75 for 1,000 rounds. I think it was like $50 for 1,000 rounds of 7.62 x 39. So, like when I was working at AOL, so like 1997, 99, something like that. You could go take an SKS or something, or an AK out to the hill and just shoot the shit out of it, and it didn't cost you nothing. We'd bring 3,000 rounds up there and shoot it, and that, come home empty. The 1919, yeah, and it is hotter. So that's my thing, is I've always just shot that through my Springfield. I must have bought hunting ammo, but did I ever take that thing hunting? The other problem with that thing was the scope rings on my Springfield, because I never changed the bolt. So on a Springfield, it's not designed for a scope, so they didn't care what the bolt was going to do. So the bolt goes flying straight up almost when you're cycling it. You're running the action on it. So when I put a scope on it, it would hit the scope, like the bolt handle would come up and smack into the scope. So I had to put the scope way the hell up in the air in order to not get hit. And everybody told me, oh, you should put a new handle on there, or bend the handle, or whatever. But all that was money, and the scope rings were cheaper. So I put these scope rings on it. It looked like a big, goofy AR-15 handle or something. And because of that, it was way up in the air, and you didn't really get a good cheek rest. So it was a goofy gun. And so I didn't put a lot of effort in. I didn't, spend a lot of time with it. It was also annoying in the safe with that giant scope on it. And it wasn't that the scope was big, but I should say the scope being 3 inches off of it or something. Let's see. Barbecue is saying, I enjoy my 30-06, but I believe 308 has severely hindered the amount of guns it will be chambered in today, which makes sense when you realize the 308 performs similar to the 30-06, but out of a shorter case. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, not exactly, but that's kind of where I was going. Is I figured the 30-06 kind of lost its development, probably in the 80s or something. Like, I don't know, because even before the companies, like right now, Ruger and Remington and whoever's making rifles anymore, Mossberg maybe, whoever's making rifles, they'll make it in a new caliber without much effort. Like they do not need a lot of prompting to make it in a new caliber because it doesn't really cost them that much. But back in the olden days, I don't think they ever did. Like at least it took them a lot longer to decide to make it in a new caliber. So people would make their own rifles, or they'd have rifles made for them. And anyway, because of that, I think there was probably a lot of unique calibers or wildcat calibers that were being used. If you were going to spend a bunch of money to have your gun made by hand by some gunsmith, you might as well make it in a weird caliber too. Like, what's the point of going with 30-06? So I guess that's what I'm getting at. If it wasn't a production gun, then more than likely they weren't going to go with a standard caliber. But you could also write books and books and books about all the shit I don't know about bolt action guns in the old days. I don't know if anybody has them. Guns and Waters out there now? Well, I think we've been going for 2 hours now, and it's officially middle of the night-ish for most of the country. The Pacific coast, the left coast, the coast with the most anti-gun laws, it's only like 10:30 over there, so it's not even late over there. But where I'm at, it's already getting to be midnight, and that means where some of y'all are, the metric coast, you're looking at 1 a.m., I think, if I'm doing my math correctly. But it's metric math, so it's really easy to do as long as you don't have any extra fingers or toes. But anyway, it's getting late, so I think we'll wrap this one up. I do appreciate all the folks who participated. That's what it's all about. And this was probably enough participation in order to do this again. So we'll keep doing this whenever possible. I'd like to get back into the swing of it. Here's a question. Is there a way to do a thing with this chat that we used to be able to do with the other chats? And I do not see it as being an option. Oops, what happened there? Oh, look at that. I changed it into night mode. No, I don't think it has anything. All right, well, so with that, oh wait, Thomas is saying, I have some green tip 762 by 39 and can't find where it's from. The head stamp is a triangle 82. All right, well, green, probably tracers. And a triangle 82 is probably not a, well, no, it is a tracer. Is it a really light brass color? I'm coughing up a storm over here. Or like a really shiny brass color, like a yellowy brass, not like an orangey brass. And the yellow and the green is like a transparent green almost. It's like not a very opaque green. And it's kind of a dark green, not like a lime green, but like a darker, but it's a transparent green. If that's the case, I know what it is. Yeah, 82 is the year, but the triangle might be, I'm thinking it's Yugo. It'd have to take me a minute. I have to think about it. It's copper wash. So it could be Chinese, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I'm just super rusty. But the triangle is throwing me. Oh, you know what the triangle is? Dang. Yeah, the triangle. No, not 81 though. Well, the triangle is Tula, not on a head stamp. The triangle is going to be on like on a stencil, or maybe sometimes stamped on a gun. but not on the head stamp of the bullet, I don't think. I was thinking it was the date code. I don't think I even put any of my stuff on Ammo Buyer's Guide, because I don't have a specific one for 7.62x39, so it might be on one of the AK websites, though. Well, I have a section here for AK ammunition, but I never posted much about it here. Oh, I guess I could screen share again instead of just looking at nothing and not showing anybody anything. Click, click. If you're listening to this as a podcast, this is recorded live, and we share screens quite a bit. I'm probably not going to have a picture of it on here. That would be too easy. But I don't really have anything. I guess I opened this all up just to show you I don't have anything here. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking Yugo, but it could be Chinese and it could be Russian. The triangle was used on the Tula arsenal. These are found on the 5, 6, and 39 from 70 to 93. Before that, the Tula used the T from 62 to 70. Yeah, I've never seen a T on a 7.62x39. And I'm trying to think. I don't think I remember seeing triangles. So let's see if I've got a picture of the ammo. Where would I have it? Maybe on one of the AK sites? So where do I have it? I think I called it AK-47 Buyer's Guide now. Oh, am I even screen sharing? Sorry, I'm not even screen sharing. So I was looking at Ammo Buyer's Guide, and I've got some of the stuff over here, but all the PDFs and stuff are not. And yeah, I never put anything up over here. Back in the old days, I had all this stuff up, but putting together websites was full-time work, and when they all got pulled down or when they all died, I can't just necessarily put them right back up. So I don't know where to find that stuff anymore. I had some PDFs that were associated with the websites, or with the what do you call them? With the videos that I've done. Oh, you guys found it by typing it in there. Triangle symbol used by the Tula arsenal. Yeah, see, these are from the stencils on the boxes and stuff. These aren't head stamps. But yeah, these are, and this triangle is China. These are Chinese SKS markings. Let's see. This is this thing you're going to find with all the different head stamps. This is when the arrow is... I don't know where this picture is coming from. When the... Can I open this in a new window? When the arrow is separate from the thing, that's when it was Russian. And when it's connected, it's Romanian. And then this would be Tula. And... Actually, I don't even know what the hell all these are. But when we're talking, you got to put in 7.62x39. Well, I'll do this since we're already in Google. Let's see. Head stamp is a triangle 82. There's a place called there's two places. There's a collector's group that will have pictures of all kinds of head stamps. And then there's a like a law enforcement like archive of every head stamp. And they kind of merge because the government one steals them from the club all the time. But those are two really good resources. These are the kind of pictures I used to like when I was first collecting. So there's definitely a triangle, but that one is like Israeli or Arabic or something. So that's possible. Is it a blank or is it a tracer? I guess I do have a bunch of tracers. So it could be one of these Arabic Hebrew ones. They do have things that, like this one that's a triangle. I didn't think about that. They won't be white. This is they put crayons on these to make the pictures show up. But they got that triangle. Looks like they got that. But I think their triangle is a date. I might be wrong. This might be 71 in a triangle. So theirs could be that could be one triangle. I had totally forgotten about that. But Russia would usually put a code on there, like a 2-number code for their. Why can't I find any head stamps of Russia, for crying out loud? Here's another one. Weird. Oh, because I didn't put 7.2 by 39. So 7.62, 39. Now we'll get some head stamps that we can use. There we go. This is one of the reasons pictures like this is what got me collecting 7.62 by 39 ammo in the first place. It's all the different colors and combos and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, all that, and it won't even find any of my pictures. Weird. I guess my pictures aren't up enough anymore. I guess that's one of the reasons Instagram isn't so hot, because it's not archivable. Well, the internet is definitely thirsty for some good 7.62 by 39 ammo, or ammo information at least. This is either old-ass crap or stupid YouTube videos where they're not doing anything except shooting frying pans or whatever stupid thing they're doing for views. You would think that at least one of my images from back in the day would have been stolen by somebody and reused. Usually that's kind of stuff that happens. I was hoping to find one of my pictures. This is the best picture I can find. This is all Chinese ammo, though. I don't remember the Chinese using symbols at all either, though. Well, the Chinese, yeah, they all use just 2-number codes, or maybe I shouldn't say 2 numbers. Sometimes it's like 3 numbers. 7.62 head stamp. We'll just leave it at 7.62 by 39 head stamp and see if we got a better picture. I've got a square picture with like a pretty good assortment of head stamps, but I didn't put crayons on them, so it's not that good, I guess. And it's not showing up anywhere, so it's not helping me. This is about as close as I can get, and this is somebody's picture from back in the day. And this is a little bit of everything. There is this one with a star, and I can't remember who the star was anymore. This isn't going to help us. But again, a star isn't a triangle. Yep, you got me stumped. I'm not sure. Do you got a picture of it? Let's go find out how much shit is over here. Oh, let's see. I did a search for 7.62 by 39 head stamp triangles, 82. That makes sense. I immediately just go to image after that. Does it have an orange primer? If it's orange primer, then it's Hugo. So I'm looking for the triangle. If you're calling this a triangle, that's a Barnaul. If it's all copper like this, Well, the ones I'm thinking of were less coppery looking than this. This I call like an orange copper. There's like a real yellowy copper. And that would be kind of a Yugo looking color. That one would be Yugo probably, or Russian maybe. That's a red version of what I'm talking about. But if it's Arab, then that would be similar also. No head stamp. Man, I'd have bought the shit out of that for $8. If it's this, that's the Yugo with the thing. I don't think they had a triangle though. You guys are getting different search results? Thanks. So Wizard is giving me this. I'm using DuckDuckGo. Do you think that's why? Oh, okay, here we go. So there's a triangle. Whoa, does it look goofy like this? That doesn't look like 762 by 39. So they're saying that the head stamp listing is shown below. So there it is, bunch of triangles. Oh, they are saying this is Tula then. Oh, okay. So this is the Tula date code stamps? No, the date codes were messing with the dates. This is what you were saying about the T. This is 5.6 by 39, so I'm not sure what the hell that means. This guy's saying it was Russian, and he doesn't speak good, so that could be Russian. Compare the triangles in North Korea plain triangle to the triangle with the center apparent. Does yours look just like this one at the top here? And then does yours look like goofy like this? Okay, so it doesn't look like this, I guess, but the triangle is the same. Okay. Interesting. I wish I had a picture of mine. I haven't seen this before, and the part where it says 5.6 or whatever, like what the hell is 5.6? And it says it more than once on here, so. But I've never seen this before. I don't know who made this. Rybart.info threads 5 to 6 by 39. What does that mean? But I definitely have 711s. I can't remember. Let me go look at the Russian date codes. 762 head site codes. Russian. Are you serious? Nobody's going to have even any of my slides up here? I have to go figure out how to get my own slides. I'm going to put date codes and see what happens. Come on. All right, well, I'm not going to be able to find it, I guess. But I must have some with 20 with the triangle then. See, but this makes no sense because now it's saying Lapua and 270 Russian, 5.6 by 39 Lapua. So I get that this is a chart, but I just don't believe that this chart has anything to do with 7.62 by 39. I'm pretty sure I've got a whole bunch that say 711 from Tula. Man, I don't remember if I've got T's or not. I might. And I can't remember what the... You know what? I'm just going to go to my YouTube channel because my video will tell me that I could find it faster than finding any of this. So here's what happens when you did the video of this like dozens of years ago. All right, so where would I have chatted about that stuff? Country of origin. Ammo in the USA? No. Magazines, Russian spam cans, ammo factories, Russian factories. Probably this one. 17
39.
minutes. Oh, I was probably playing this the other on Christmas or whatever. Could just be froze up, I guess. The hell, now it's giving me a commercial on my own video. Come on, YouTube. Nah, would have been nice to have a link to it. Yeah, I was writing stuff on the screen, but not doing that. So that was probably the closest thing I'm going to be able to find, though, because the spam cans don't talk about that. Maybe this. It's only 3 minutes long, though. It was in this series that I would have dug into it, but that's like multiple 20-minute long videos, and I can't remember. They're not all together, and I can't remember which one had the maps and stuff. This one didn't. All right, I'm not going to find it. I tried. Let me see if I can open up one of these and get a link to the PDF or something. Here's what a Chinese green tracer looks like, though, from the Wooden Labs.
Another gun of the day. We're taking a look at tracer rounds today. So we have a tracer.
All right, well, that was Toby shooting. Very well. Appreciate the tangent there. Did they call it 220? Maybe. Let's see. 5.6 by 39 is also known in the U.S. as 220 Russian. It's a cartridge developed in 1961 for deer hunting in the USSR. Oh, okay. What about the 93 to 86 head stamp? I don't know. Oh, okay, hold on. I thought the triangle symbol was used. These are found on the 5.6. Whatever. Before that, the T was used. Huh. Hold on. So now I know that a big chunk of my brain isn't immediately able to recollect AK's ammunition stuff, especially those date codes is driving me nuts. Because I mean, one of the reasons I put together all my PDFs is because there was nothing on the internet. This picture's been on the internet forever. I guess people ripping it off. That's actually a scan from a photocopied piece of paper. And then some of these others are just about as useless, but none of them are really breaking it down. So maybe I'll put on it's not my short list, but maybe my long list of things to do would be to redo the AK ammo PDF. But I'm also only searching for whatever, a couple of minutes here, half-assed. But it's a great question, and like I say, whenever I have a chance to figure it out, I will try to figure out more about it. I'm probably missing some questions or comments in here because I'm not so used to this comment thing over here, and we can't star things, which is really driving me nuts. I need to talk to Foss about if you can star comments on that one he's using, because the one he's using does have some nice features that I would rather have than doing this one too much longer. I'm doing this one month to month, the thing I'm streaming on right now. So I may switch my streaming services yet again. Right. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the question. That was a great question. So thanks again for everybody who joined us and stuck through with another, I guess, 15-minute search for green tipped 7.62x39 with a weird head stamp or an unusual head stamp. We'll be back whenever we're back. Tomorrow is Friday, so potentially we can get a wrap up for tomorrow without having it be Saturday morning, but we'll find out. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. As I push the button here, you'll be reminded that we have a store. You're able to buy stuff over there. If you're a capitalist and you feel like it, please feel free to. And when you do, I'll send you free stuff. And if you're a Patreon, say something about it so that I can send you even a really, I can't even talk about how much free stuff you're going to get as a Patreon. So mainly because I don't even know, because I'll just start throwing stuff in the box. Gizzard has some idea of how much stuff I have to give away, but he doesn't even know how much stuff I have to give away. So thanks for everybody who does participate. And eventually I'll figure out where the freaking link is that I've been looking for, and I think I found it. Maybe. Is my internet broken? Why is this taking so long? Did I click the wrong link on that talking? Maybe I did click the wrong link. So, but anyway, do I ship to Canada? I have no problem shipping to Canada, but the store is stupid, and the store keeps charging people U.S. prices, and I just don't know how to tell it to charge an actual Canadian price. So I think the last time somebody tried, it charged them like $5 to send 5 decks of cards, or maybe it was more than that. And in reality, it was like $25, but I guess they didn't want them for that price. So yeah, I don't mind shipping to Canada if I can. And I'm pretty sure I can ship just about everything to Canada. I mean, I don't know if you got something like that. But yeah, let me know. I can't find the link. So, or I guess I have the link, but it won't open for me. So it's really difficult for me to then copy the link. Maybe I can copy it while it's, what happened to it? There it is. Oh, now it opened right up, so I don't know what's going on. But as the show ends here, you'll get a commercial for the store, and now there's a link for the store. That took a lot of work. There you go. Have a great night.
Shit. Ninja? Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.